Donald Trump, I have one question. What are you doing? Check this out.
By telling Fox News, quote, President Trump is not proposing an increase in student visas for Chinese students. The 600K references 2 years worth of visas, which is simply a continuation of existing policy.
Foreign students in the U.S. could soon face a tight 4-year limit under a new Trump administration rule aimed at tightening visa controls and cracking down on legal violations. What do you think about this dramatic shift?
Yep. Trump is on a quest to destroy the United States of America. So he has declared that basically no international students are going to be allowed visas to go and study in the United States of America. And why is he doing that? Is because basically he wants to create a program in which anybody applying to go to the United States to study will have all their social media screening, all of their internet history is going to be examined and looked into. They're looking for anybody allegedly who has any connections with Gaza, anyone that's ever been to Gaza, and anybody that is an enemy of America, and anyone, oh God, you know where I'm going with this. So basically, he has declared war on the rest of the world, as he has been doing. And basically what this means is that he is actually going to destroy the universities of America. And guess who's going to suffer most? The rest of the world don't care. There are so many universities around the world. And actually, most of America is...
Breaking news in immigration. The Trump administration continues its attack on American higher education by attacking international students. While the headline everyone was talking about is the removal of duration of status, it actually goes much further. This proposal would limit people from transferring schools until you completed 1 academic year. It would disallow people from doing second bachelor's or second master's. It would require you to extend your stay every 24 or 48 months, raising the chance of delay or error or denial. Language students would be limited to 24 months max. Graduate students would not be allowed to transfer programs at all. And anybody who is delayed in graduation by academic probation, suspension, or, quote, an unwillingness to complete your degree would not be allowed to extend their stay. American higher education is one of the jewels of our nation's history and culture, and it's sad to see the Trump administration attacking it.
Oh, they have a grant set aside just for Hispanic and Latino students called the Hispanic Serving Institution Grant of 1998. It was established in 1998, and Trump said, you know what? I'm not giving y'all $350 million towards that grant because it's discriminatory, right? This grant is based on the percentage of enrolled Hispanic kids at an institution. So if it's 25% or more, then the institution qualifies to participate in this grant. So what happened is Tennessee, the state of Tennessee, sued the Department of Education, was like, yo, we got Hispanics in our, universities and college too, but we don't qualify for the grant. Maybe we don't have 25% of them, but we do have Hispanics. And that's how everything come about. But this is what gets me. Joe Biden said his priority was to increase the funding to this Hispanic grant. This is the same party that tells Black Americans we can't do anything specifically for you all. But they've been on a 12-year plus run doing things specifically for the Hispanic and Latino community. They've been out here getting the princess treatment, 5-star luxury hotels, SNAP benefits unlimited, like rolling out the red carpet for them. But yeah, we can't do nothing specifically for the Black Americans.
Yo, this is a very interesting topic and it's one that is trending this week. So, Trump administration is about to change the international student program. They're proposing a limit of 4 years, contrary to that can give you even up to 10 years. They're saying that they are doing this to curb those long-staying students or those who abuse visas. But yet again, they say that for those who finish the 4 years and their education program is extensive, then they can extend their visas or do a reapplication where vetting and scrutiny can be done, which is a bit, I would say, students like those in India and Nigeria are going to be discriminated, and that is fact. But I'll come to that at the very end of the video. For now, it's just that I'm wondering, why would you do such a short term like that? It's so myopic. But then again, yes, I understand the fact that universities like Harvard, Columbia, the students have contributed to Trump having this negative attitude towards international students and them thinking that international students are abusing these visas to a point where now they are influencing United States politics, and yet it's not their country. They're destabilizing the country, starting from education centers. And students sometimes have to say in these political matters. And it seems like he wanted to tackle that issue by imposing such a policy. But hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Danny and I'm gonna be the host for today's show. So today we're going to talk about how Trump administration is planning to reduce visa programs for international students, and also his hypocritical move to increase Chinese students to 600,000 to come to the United States of America, which is contrary to what he is always standing for. He's always saying that Chinese people are sending students to United States of America for the purpose of CCP spying or infiltration. I'm gonna ask you to stick around. Let's listen to more opinions. We'll be back. Let's go.
We're getting along very well with China, and I'm getting along very well with President Xi. I think it's very insulting to say students can't come here, because they'll go out and they'll start building schools and they'll be able to survive it. But I like that their students come here. I like that other countries' students come here. And you know what would happen if they didn't? Our college system would go to hell very quickly. You'd have, and it wouldn't be the top colleges. It would be colleges that struggle on the bottom. And you take out 300,000 or 600,000 students out of the system. I like having, and I told this to President Xi, that we're honored to have their students here.
Yeah, so Donald Trump at this point has pretty much lied about everything. We got no mass deportations, and instead of deporting all the people Joe Biden let in, he's literally giving more visas to Asians and Indians. He's owned by Israel. He literally does whatever they say. Our inflation is rising. Our grocery prices are rising. Real estate prices are still unaffordable. Our gas is rising. He said he was going to be the peace president and literally end the war in Ukraine in like 24 hours. Still going on. No Epstein files. Americans are being deported for criticizing Israel. Military deployment into cities, and Alligator Alcatraz was shut down. I got one question for you guys. Are you done winning yet? Just look at this. Ever since the 1940s all the way to now. Do you notice something? This meme describes it perfectly. Donald Trump was supposed to be reversing this trend, but instead, he's just giving scholarships to more people and bringing them over here. It's like at this point, what is the point of even voting for right or for left if they're both just going to do the same thing? Because I voted for Donald Trump for the promises he made, but he's literally hasn't kept any of them. I mean, ever since the 1940s, white people have went from 30% of the world population to about 14%. And Donald Trump is making sure by, 2050, 2060, that number is cut in half even more. We fell for it again, guys.
Hello and good morning. Let's get right into it. Trump faces MAGA backlash for saying he'll let 600,000 Chinese students into U.S. And again, I've said this before, and I will keep saying this. You must have an absolute, in my opinion, as an American, absolute distrust for the government. You must hold them accountable. Yes, even the ones that you like, even the ones that you love, that say the things that you like that they say, you got to hold them accountable. And you got to be totally not worshipful for them. You must hold them accountable because it's just a job. This particular thing, I think he's absolutely wrong. There should be nobody, in my opinion, coming into America either through visa or through immigration at this point, because it's just wrong and we can't handle any more people.
Ooh, MAGA, Trump's got some splaining to do, doesn't he? Ooh, you guys are just all up in your feels about Trump saying it's very important that we get 600,000 students from China to come over to those universities, those woke liberal universities where the educated people go, and they are going to have 600,000 of them from China. And it's very important that they come over and that we bring them over and educate them. That's just according to Trump, I mean, I happen to agree with him too. It's one of the few things I agree with him, but he's the one that said it was really important. But don't worry. He really, really loves the uneducated. He loves the uneducated about as much as conservative and Republican and MAGA men love and respect their wives. Hint, that's not a lot. It's a lot of gaslighting, though.
Trump says he now welcomes 600,000 Chinese students to study in the United States. That is more than double the 278,000 Chinese students that were in the U.S. in 2023 to 2024. The turnaround is quite striking. Trump made his comments during a meeting he was having with the president of South Korea. In May, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said that the government was going to aggressively revoke the visas of Chinese students. I'm sorry to be laughing. There are expectations for a sharp fall in international students because of visa policies and the generally unwelcoming environment in the United States. It comes at a cost. International students contribute some $44 billion to the U.S. economy. A recent study shows that a 15% drop in international students could lead to a loss of $7 billion in economic activity. A number of U.S. universities rely on international students because they generally pay full tuition, and those students come mostly from India and from China. So what do you make of this turnaround?
So wait, after Trump sold his cult members and followers and supporters on America First, and they were like, get those immigrants out of here, he is now allowing 600,000 Chinese students to come to the U.S. to go to school. 600,000. Now, during trade agreements with Beijing, Trump said we're going to allow them to come in and we need to try to get along with China. Now, isn't that sure a different tune? Because I thought you said there were too many immigrants here. Oh, okay. So you just say things for your convenience, and then when you need to shift for something else to work for you, then you do. So you're just selling people blindly, and they're going for anything you say, even though what you say is a bunch of malarkey. We all know that, though, except for the people who are being led astray with his nonsense. Imagine that. And some of his cult members are already speaking out about it. Laura Loomer said, I did not vote for Muslims and Chinese people to be imported into my country. Please do not make America China. MAGA does not support this. And Marjorie Taylor Greene said, Chinese students are taken away from American opportunities. Why are we allowing 600,000 Chinese students to come and replace American students' opportunities? Yeah, so at what point y'all gonna start figuring out that he keep hyping y'all up about stuff he don't really believe? He just speak it so y'all can go for it, because then when he changes his mind, he just changes it, and he doesn't really care about how you guys feel about it. It's so funny to watch people be upset because they actually believed in the nonsense that he sold to them, and then he changes his mind, but they're still stuck back in his old thoughts. Let's see how many more of his cult members are going to be upset, or will they just go with it? Because you know, he can do no wrong when it comes to them.
So your question is, what are my thoughts on Trump denying student visas for students coming from countries that won't negotiate on tariffs with us? And my immediate answer is, I don't support that. Like, I get why he's doing it, but I think there's a lot better ways to accomplish his goal. See, the reason he's doing this is he recognizes that people that are coming from other countries to study in the U.S., generally their families have quite a bit of money. And when they have quite a bit of money in these countries, generally they have a little bit of pull. And the ultimate goal was to try to get them to complain. Now, sure, they're going to complain about America denying their visa. They're going to complain at America, but more than anything, they're going to complain loudly. And they're going to complain loudly at their own government for not getting the barriers out of the way to allow their child to go to college. And that was the ultimate goal with it, try to create dissent in other countries about the negotiations. And I get why he would do that, but yeah, I don't agree with it. Look, I don't target anything that innocent people that want to come here and study and get an education shouldn't be able to. Now, I do want to be clear, this doesn't mean all these people that are already here and are talking about overthrowing the West or destroying the Western government. No, I wouldn't shed a single fucking tear if you kicked all them out. But for people that just want to come here and get an education and better themselves, I can't support what Trump's doing.
Great insights there, and it's nice to see from two sides of the coin. We've listened to people from the MAGA base, and we've also listened to people from the progressive side, or just people who have overall different opinions from what the MAGA base has. And even some other people from the MAGA base actually have contradictory opinions. But hey, let's try and look at this situation this way. It seems like Trump's visa policies for international students is somehow paradoxical. Yes, I would say this because the visa policy is actually very restrictive in form and it's also extensive in function. Why would I say this? Because it's a sort of a gamble. Look at it this way. So, Trump wants American schools or universities to still stay solvent, yet he wants to appease his MAGA base, and at the same time he wants the Chinese engagement. There is this issue of 145% Chinese tariffs. Having met President Jinping, I think this is one of those requirements or one of those demands that these people had in that meeting in order to fulfill another request that America put in. And that's why we are seeing 600,000 students are being allowed from China to come into the country. Yet again, he wants to reduce the number of foreign students in United States of America universities. People are calling it so hypocritical, but we're gonna come back to that later. So 600,000 students from China, and yet from the year 2023 to 2024, we had 277,000 Chinese students. So that means that this is almost, if he's saying 600,000 is for 2 years, then that means for each year is 300,000, 300,000. I would just say, like, let's say 277, 300,000, 23,000% at, oh my God, 23,000 students increase, and yet he wants to reduce the visa extensions so that students can reapply if their programs is longer, and we know when they reapply they would be denied. It kind of makes other people very angry. In fact, Americans are angry to a point of, why would you do such a thing like reduce student visas, international student visas? We all know the importance of international students. They bring in global talent. These people also contribute to the economy. We have housing, so many jobs that are gonna be left out. I'm not denying the fact that there are some people who are just scumbags who try to bring some weird culture to the United States, are influencing or radicalizing other United States students. That is there, but it's sort of very minor. It's not the idea of the whole program. I'm sure many students come in with good intention. They want to learn, find jobs, or if not find jobs here, go and build their own country. And most of the students, even when applying for these visas, they write that they are gonna go back to their country. They don't want to stay in the United States of America. Right now in the US, it's so hectic. The country is almost going in a different direction than it was before. These policies are so unpredictable. There's so much uncertainty. I don't think it's a good environment for anyone coming from a different country to settle in there full time. I think people just want to come, learn, and go back. Trump says that the reason why he wants more Chinese students is because also the Chinese students coming to America pay their tuition fees in full as compared to other students from other countries. And I'm like, what? That is totally not true. I think most students who come to America, if it's not scholarship, most of them have the money to pay for their tuition. At least you would say that maybe along the way, it gets tough for them maybe to pay for things like housing and they languish into homelessness. You'd say something like that, which is also not true. Saying that only Chinese students are the ones who pay full tuition fees, that is a complete lie, and I don't agree with that. You would think that MAGA base would be super excited with this, but it seems like they are furious with Donald Trump because of this move. I would say the ideal one would be around 6 to 7 years. That would really make sense, because let's say a student is going for 4 years or 5 years, and then they have to go for an internship. So you want to tell me, if someone completes his studies and then he is ought to do internship before he graduates, and then he has no visa, and then he's forced to go out, or he's going to be deported while waiting for the visa to be processed or to be vetted in, or to do interview for another visa extension. Like, make it make sense. I pity students who come from those countries that have been put in the orange or red zones. You remember when Trump says some country, he doesn't want some people from some country to visit? I'm sure students are gonna be affected in that way. But hey guys, that's my opinion for now. And it's at this point that I would invite you also to share your own. If you have contrary opinions, please do. If If you support mine or you have something to add on, I would really appreciate. So make comment section your home, slide in there your thoughts, your opinions. It would be really insightful. Also, don't forget to go and check the original creators. Their usernames have been embedded in the stitched videos as always. Go on to their TikToks, follow, like for this channel. Make sure you smash a huge thumbs up button. Consider subscribing, turn on post notification so that you may not miss my next upload. And with that guys, let me meet you in the next one. Peace out.